Now we could get used to this. Another week, another win for Inter Miami. Some new milestones reached. A big 4-1 win over the New England Revolution. We dissect it all on the Inter Miami Weekly Show. Well, we said it last week. We're lucky. Every week we're lucky. It's the Arsenal legend Kieran Gibbs. I'm Joe Malva, right back at it at Chase Stadium. We're lucky again to witness Lionel Messi. Another week, another 2 goals, another 2 assists, another 3 points for Inter Miami. Kieran, we were kind of at a loss for words last week. I think we missed it those few weeks that Messi was out, and we're getting it back and then some after he's come back healthy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, it was a really convincing win in the end, especially after another slow start for Miami and a fast start from New England. I feel that the conditions had a part to play slightly, with the speed of the ball and the movement of the ball on the turf. Those games can really affect the pace of the game sometimes. I think especially if it's not wet. I felt that the game was quite slow actually, and it took Miami a while to adjust. But once they did, they really got going and they were really in the groove. And it's again another really promising win. I feel that they've just really started to gain momentum now. And that's impressive to see. When you start to get that, it breeds real confidence throughout the team, and even when you're not playing as well, you'll pick up points because you just have that belief and momentum. So the boys are putting on a show right now. It's great to see.
And they put on a show for 65,000. It was another one of those on the road in an NFL stadium like it was a few weeks ago in Missouri against Sporting Kansas City. Now against New England. We'll take you to the highlights. Now 65,000 strong in attendance, and it was quick. Those 65,000 got to celebrate a New England goal just a few seconds into the game on a mistake at the back from Inter Miami.
Yeah, I feel like looking back, Drake probably could have stayed on his line, but of course, you don't want to give the ball away in the first minute, and I think that was an adjustment to the pitch.
Well, they adjusted, they got it right back, and from that point on, it was all Inter Miami.
It was. They really started to, especially after the half an hour mark. They had one bright moment in between, but this was by far the best move of the first half. A brilliant play from Robert Taylor, who we welcomed back into the team, and obviously Messi just finding those inches of spaces in between the defenders, really hard to stop.
Incredible ball from Robert Taylor. It's good to see him back fit and healthy. And then from that point on, it was contributions from everywhere. It was Benja Cremaschi coming in and helping out. It was Leo Campana returning back to the starting 11. Suarez would come in as a super sub and make his impact felt. But another one here. I mean, the pass, the touch, the finish, everything about this.
I mean, I'm just not quite sure how Sergio Busquets sees Messi. I mean, I know he's always looking for him, but if you look on this angle, it's like he almost just plays the pass blindly, and the weight of pass was just excellent. It was a wonderful bit of play from Busquets.
And one of the better, maybe under-the-radar plays of the day came on that little flick on from Benja Cremaschi that you'll see in just a bit, where he helped set up the goal, and then he helped clean up a goal after Messi nearly had his hat-trick. Benja cleaned up the pieces.
Yeah, I really like the tenacious play, the ferocity on the other side of the pitch from Rojas. This was a great introduction to his Miami career, and obviously great to see Benja back, always looking to get involved in the game, stays alert, stays alive, steadies himself and puts it away for the boys.
A Messi hat-trick would have been nice, but I think Benja deserves it as well. But it's this little flick on from Benja right there that impressed me the most, that led to the final goal.
Oh yeah, and it's really great to have him back. He has been missed. We're starting to see the depths of Miami's squad, coming through and really helping out the team. But he's blessed with such exciting talent, Benja. I love the way he plays the game, and that was a great bit of play.
Another big 3 points on the road for Inter Miami. Get to come back home this week against the Red Bulls with 3 wins now on the trot. And Kieran, look, you take it with a pinch of salt. New England is the last place team, but they are still a team that you have to play against on your schedule, and you can only play the teams that are in front of you. You take care of business with those 3 points. But my question is this. Even though New England is a bottom-of-the-table team, was that the most comprehensive and impressive performance that we've seen so far from Inter Miami in this little winning streak here?
They're really starting to wear teams down, even when they look like they're on the back foot in the early stages. And so that's good, because it's showing you that the team doesn't panic, and you need that throughout the rest of the season, because when the cup games come, they're starting to mature a bit and understand the game management side of things that we've been speaking about for so long, and that's really impressive to see. That comes from the top, from the experienced players, and it's good for the younger players to learn that earlier on in their careers, because they're going to need that. It's such a big part of the game. So that's what I'm excited about with the team at the moment. It just seems that they're getting that momentum and rhythm, and then they're not panicking when things go wrong, because that's going to happen. Especially with the inexperience. But it's how they're dealing with it at the moment that's really impressing me.
Or you could spin it positively and say conceding early is what wakes this team up, and maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah,
maybe that's the recipe for success. Go ahead and concede in the first 10 minutes and then let Messi snap into his form. But obviously that's not the case. That's not what you want. What you do want to continue to see is Messi doing Messi things. And I think we echo the same sentiments as Jake Zivit and Taylor Twellman on the broadcast this weekend, where we've run out of things to say about him. I mean, the record would speak for themselves. He set another MLS record. That's becoming a weekly occurrence now, but he had multiple goal contributions in this game, officially credited with the 2 goals and 2 assists. First player in MLS history to have 6 consecutive games with more than 1 goal contribution, which is insane when you take a step back and think about that it's 6 games, whether it's a goal or an assist or a combination of the 2, that he's had more than 1 in all 6 of the games. I don't know what to say anymore. Do you? I mean, it's just we sit back and watch, and can we move on? I think that there's nothing else we can say about him anymore, I guess.
The only thing I will say is, I kind of feel for managers that have to come up against him in teams a little bit, just because you can do hours, days, months, years of analysis on how to stop a team and stop players. But there is no analysis that you can do to stop this guy. There really isn't. So you can try as hard as you want.
You're probably going to fail.
You're probably going to fail.
That's it.
So, but it's just amazing because he has, not only the skill and the balance and the clinicalness to play, but he has the mental side of the game as well, that's equally matched, and so it really is hard to stop.
Absolutely. There's some players that we can spend more time talking about, though, because there are more things to say. And one of those players, Benja Cremaschi, he was part of the trio that is back now, back fit, back healthy, back contributing with Campana, with Taylor, and Cremaschi. And we could run through all 3 of them, but I want to start with Cremaschi. He had that time away with the sports hernia, slowly integrated back. This was not his first game back. He had played in MLS Next Pro. He had appeared for the first team, but this was really him re-announcing his arrival. I would say coming in, having a goal himself, having an assist himself. How big is it to have a healthy Benja? I think maybe because of the time that he spent away injured, we forget how big of a contributor he was last year, be it in Leagues Cup, in Open Cup, in MLS regular season play. He was a massive contributor that really helped everybody else flourish around him.
Yeah, I think the key thing you said there is a healthy Benja, because I've had a hernia and a double hernia surgery, and it can be really tricky. It's one of those real niggling injuries that you feel quite sluggish on, and you can feel like you've lost what you had before. So it's really good to see him. He looks bright, he looks sharp, he looks just as strong and just as keen to affect the games, and obviously super talent. So I really enjoyed having him back, and I think that the team will benefit hugely from having him back.
And it seems like the United States might benefit from him as well, because the story came out this week that he had a conversation with Javier Mascherano about still USA, Argentina internationally, and basically the end of that conversation was, look, the United States right now is going to fast track you and be the best option for you. And it seems, for all intents and purposes, like as long as he's healthy, he's going to be one of those starters at the Olympics coming up in a few months for the United States. So it's great to see him back and healthy and on that trajectory once again. Now, another player that we mentioned was Leo Campana. Now, in the early going of the season, Luis Suarez had to play a lot of minutes, more maybe than was anticipated, to get eased into the season, and part of that was because Campana wasn't fit. Now he's back, and you could see already in that game this past weekend, Campana starts, Suarez came in to close, and he comes in and he scores a goal at the end. That's something that, again, we had envisioned before the season began. It was taken away with the injury, and now we have it where they could almost alternate games. Here's 60 for Suarez and 30 for Campana. Just flip it, and you're not going to lose anything with either of those guys out there. That's going to be massive for the club going forward, too, to have that pairing up top.
Definitely, and you know what, I like Leo because he's been so patient. He hasn't kicked up a fuss about not getting as many minutes. You know, he was obviously the talisman for Miami for at least a year, and that's a great feeling to have. And then obviously when it's taken away from you, it can affect your confidence. But I feel that he hasn't let that happen to him. Mentally, he's a really strong boy. I played with him obviously here, and you know, he's a really professional guy, takes care of himself, and he's always, you know, he's got one kind of state.
Right.
He doesn't get too excited or too down. He remains quite neutral. Really important player for Miami in this challenge for the title.
And the return for Taylor as well. You talk about that position really coming off the left wing or the right wing, but he's able to play both. You lost Farias, you lost Gomez for a little bit now, but again, he's not as long-term of an injury. You're going to get Gomez back, and that was all while Taylor was out, but now Taylor's back, and he fits right back into that spot. Again, it's just nice to see it coming together where there were holes. The team struggled a little bit during that spell where guys were injured. We'll talk about that loss to the Red Bulls in a moment because that's this weekend's opponent again. That was all during that spell where these guys were missing, but now they're all back, and what was already still strong is now an even greater strength.
Yeah, I think he really completes that kind of front line for Miami, and it's great to have him back as well. Obviously, with Gomez out, you know, I really like Gomez there, but obviously for him to play there week in, week out, we know that we like him in the deeper role as well. So it's been important that Robert Taylor's back, and now this is the time where you want everyone back when you're right in the thick of the season. All of these boys coming back is a great benefit.
It's nice to imagine what the starting lineup is going to look like when everybody comes back, right? And the decisions that Tata's going to have to make between Redondo, between Gomez, all these guys coming back in the fold at some point. And add another piece on top of that. Matias Rojas just signed last week, right after we recorded last week's episode, of course, so we couldn't get it in last week, but now he's here and he gets to start this weekend, and it was great to see just another piece to the puzzle. When Gomez comes back, he's going to have a fellow countryman from Paraguay, and Rojas coming from Corinthians in Brazil. He's played in Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil. He's a Paraguayan national teamer, has played in Copa America and World Cup qualifying, and you saw on that goal, the third goal of the match, just the relentless effort that he had at the end line to create that third goal against New England.
He done so well to keep it in. I mean, that was a really solid bit of play from him. I mean, international player, you know, he's going to have undoubted quality. Really excited to see how he gets on with this team, but he looks like a great fit at the moment, even with just his cameo the other night.
It's, again, you talk about that, you talk about Taylor. I mentioned Gomez, Redondo. I don't know what the lineup's going to look like when everybody comes back, and that's a very good problem to have. No complaints here. I mean, Tata Martino is going to be sitting there as one of the happiest managers in all of MLS when everybody is back healthy, and that's just a testament to the necessary depth you have to have over the course of a long MLS season. Hopefully you're going until December when MLS Cup final is. In between, then you've got Leagues Cup as well, looking to defend a trophy in Leagues Cup. All these players at some point, Kieran, are going to have to pull their weight, step up, and maybe contribute more than they had originally thought in some pieces of the season here and there. And it's just an embarrassment of riches right now to have for the club.
It is, like you said, when everyone's back, it's going to be really difficult for the manager, but he definitely won't be complaining too much because, you know, you'd rather have a fully fit squad than a squad that's, you know, on the bare bones, which it has been a few times, and those moments are always difficult. So really excited to have a fully fit squad.
Absolutely, and a fully fit squad around the league is going to have to deal with the new rules. Some housekeeping here, just in case anybody has been watching the games these last couple of weeks and seen some new wrinkles, I guess we'll say. 2 new rules were implemented. We'll try to educate you the best we can on them and bring you up to speed. It's the off-field treatment rule, and it's the substitution rule. So the entire premise is to kind of speed up the game, less time of inactivity. Substitutes now can't make that long trot and shake every hand on the way off the field. You got 10 seconds to get off at the nearest line, be it the sideline, the touchline, whatever it is. It's 10 seconds to get off. Otherwise, the sub coming on has to wait for a minute, and you have a minute disadvantage of a player down. And the other one is the off-field treatment rule. If a player needs treatment and it's not a serious injury or a head injury, or the opposing team does not get yellow carded on it, if you're down and it's just time wasting and it's more than 15 seconds, now you have to come off for 2 minutes. There have been 0 violations of the substitution rule, and so far, mostly clean on the injury rule as well. So hope it stays that way. It's definitely sped the games along this weekend. Just looking around the league, you look at the second half stoppage times, and in all the games that didn't have a lengthy VAR check, every stoppage time was like 3 or 4 minutes. So it's a sign that things are speeding up, and we are speeding toward the next matchup here right behind us on the field at Chase Stadium this weekend against the New York Red Bulls, Kieran, a team that we lost to 4-0 on the road earlier this season. That was the game in the rain at Red Bull Arena, missing the majority of the group, and it was the low point of that bare-bones squad that you had mentioned a few moments ago. We know one thing about this team over the last couple of seasons now, or season and a half since Messi got here. They take receipts, and they've taken mental notes of when things have happened against certain teams. Think of the Nashville rivalry. Think of even in Cincinnati, what they did in Open Cup and in the regular season. And I think he was sitting back and watching that 4-0 among the other guys who were out for that day. Now in a good bit of form, in first place, Red Bulls in third place on our home field. This feels like it's an opportunity for a receipt from Inter Miami.
Yeah, they do. They take things personal, that it seems. So it will be interesting to see. You know, they're in a much better place this time. Obviously, coming into the game, the conditions didn't help. Even though, you know, both teams have to play in it. It will be great to see them on their home turf and hopefully, you know, get that revenge. And it's good for the team. It's healthy to have, you know, sometimes you need a tough loss in order to humble yourself. I feel like that was the one in New York, and we're hoping that they turn it around in this game on the weekend.
Look, we can talk about the big guys all we want. It's better maybe left unsaid, like we talked about with Messi. We know what we're getting every single time now, but to that next level of guys, the Benjas that we talked about, the Taylors, the Campanas, is there anybody else who you would like to see step up and assert themselves this week against the Red Bulls in the same way that Cremaschi did this past week and Taylor did? Is there anybody else that you're looking to see step up and maybe further announce themselves or make a statement this week against the Red Bulls, aside from the big guys?
If I was to pick anyone, it would be anyone from the back four. You know, obviously from the last few weeks, you know, conceding early. I want them to take that personally as well and really, you know, help the boys getting a clean sheet and building that confidence at the back. You know, we know that clean sheets, the less goals you concede, really helps you to take a title. And so, yeah, if I was to pick anyone, it would definitely be, you know, any of the back four to really step up and get a clean sheet this weekend.
So we got Red Bulls coming up this week, the first place team in the Eastern Conference against the third place team in the Eastern Conference. We'll see if Inter Miami can make it 4 wins on the trot after that little hiccup in Champions Cup. It has just been wins on wins on wins after that. We thank you once again for joining us here on the Inter Miami Weekly Show. Make sure you like and subscribe here on YouTube so you can get each episode as it comes out.